Good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Okay.
Good morning, Dato.
Thank you, Brother Choo, for inviting me here and giving me this topic about performing a wholesome offering. Okay. So we are basically talking about dana. And what I'm going to talk about is, what is dana? What are the types of dana? The position of dana in Buddhism? Why we need to perform dana? How to perform dana? And the various degree of dana. Okay. Now, what is dana? The etymological meaning of the word da means give. Dana simply means give. So nowadays we translate it as offering or generosity, but it simply means, in our modern terms, means to do some charity works, okay, to do some good deeds, to do some good works, to give to the society, to give to other people. That's the whole idea about talking about dana. So there are many ways in which we and Buddhist societies are involved in dana. So you have eye donations, kidney donations, or the simpler one, offering some give them donations to build temples, to go to hospitals, to counsel patients, and so on. And of course, the most common one, of course, is monetary contributions. Okay, so all these are dana. So these are some of the projects. Just now the photo shows some of the projects of dana, which some Buddhist Malaysia did during the COVID. But I think all of you know about what is dana. Okay. Now, from the Buddhist point of view, there are three types of dana. Okay. The first one, we call it amisa dana. Amisa simply is material, means material dana. Dana which we give because we possess those things. And what are those things? First, of course, is money, okay, monetary things that we have, okay. And apart from that, there are also other things. Now, when we offer dana, when we talk about dana, Buddhists always think of monks, offering dana to monks. Now that is because the Buddha spent all his time with the monks. 90% of the time, the Buddha is with the monks. And most of the rules and regulations and things we talk about monks were enacted by among members of the monk. Therefore, if you want to talk about dana, a lot of things you find from the monks. But that does not mean that the Buddha is not concerned about lay people. So don't get wrong ideas that everything must be to the monks, okay? Now, there are four things that the Buddha mentioned that we can offer to the monks. Only basically four things at that time, okay? The first one is, of course, the robe, okay? The robe, which one all of you are very familiar with. And there is even ceremonies about offering of robes. We call it katina. So now katina is now the second most popular Buddhist ritual in Malaysia, after Vesak. Okay, after Vesak means katina. So a lot of Buddhists, the whole life, last time they say once a year they come out, twice a year they come out. First time Vesak, second time katina. Maybe we should create a little bit more festival, then they will surface more often. Okay. The second one, of course, is food, offering of food. So whenever monks come here, we offer food. Okay? And the third thing is lodging or senasana, shelter, some kind of shelter. During the time of the Buddha, where do monks stay generally? At the beginning, in the cave, under the trees. Later, devotees built shelters. We built kutis for the monks to stay. Now, what is a kuti, you know? Nowadays, some people like to give donation for kutis because it's mentioned or build kutis for monks, very meritorious deeds. What is a kuti? You know, a kuti basically means, it comes from the root word gusa, gusa, which means lalang. You know? So a kuti is basically made of lalang. Okay? That's why in Chinese it's called liao fang. You know? Maybe you stay in a shade, not in a house. Monks don't stay in a house. Don't stay in apartments. Don't stay in condo. They stay in a shelter. In the early days, it's called shelter. Nowadays, we call it penthouse. Those days they stay in shelter. Okay? And those shelters were very shabby one actually. The specification, got specification one. 2 hands length times 2.5 lengths length, which means how many? Roughly about 6 feet by 7 feet. That's the size of a kuti. Okay. Nowadays, with the modern things that we have, if you build a kuti like this, then the monk will tell you it's too small, cannot stay. They want at least 15 by 10 already. Okay. But actually, the specification is like that. Okay. Now I'm just divert a little bit. Some people say, then why you go to this Jetavana monastery in India? You find one big platform, I think about 60 feet by 30 feet, where they say that is the Ganda Kuti where the Buddha stay. How do you explain this? Okay. Well, I know a lot of my friends try to say that actually the Buddha was staying in such a big kuti. But I argue back. The Buddha always mentioned, I am also a member of the Sangha. There was no special treatment for the Buddha. So if the Buddha says the kuti is 6 by 7 feet, the Buddha's kuti must be 6 by 7 feet. Simple argument. Then why the platform so big? You go to India for pilgrimage, then you can understand. Tourist guide will tell you, this one built by people one, later one for tourists to see. Okay? Every king comes, when King Asoka came, King Asoka built the platform, make it bigger, put concrete platform and things like that. Then the next king comes and make it bigger a bit. The next king comes, that's why it becomes so big, that's all. Okay? So that's why you must understand. Okay? So offering shelter to the monks. Nowadays, we have the so-called kutis. When you put them all together, let's say you go to this Jetavana monastery. Jetavana monastery means that there are thousands of kutis. Because monks don't sleep double bedded or 2 persons in one room. It's 1 person, 1 room. So it's a big complex with many kutis. Okay? So kutis are actually very simple structures. Okay? Then after that it emerged to become monasteries. And by the time of Xuanzang, 6th, 7th century AD, when he arrived in India, the monastery have already emerged, become so big. The monastery has become very big. They want multi-story already, made of stone. So the library of the Nalanda University or Nalanda Monastery is said to be about 7 stories tall. By that time, the technology has reached that stage, can build up to that big. So that's how today we also build. We build a Vihara, or this, and so today, if you contribute or you give dana for the monk shelter, it's no longer for the monk shelter, it's for the whole monastery or the whole Vihara, because that is where the Dhamma is propagated. So when you are making a donation to the monastery or to the temple or to the Vihara, you are making a generous donation to propagate the Dhamma. So you have to think in terms of that. Not necessarily you build kuti only got good karma, got good merits. When you build temple, it's the same because it performs the same functions. Then, of course, the next one is medicine. Okay? So basically 4. Now, of course, as the society evolves and become more and more complex nowadays, some people offer monks cars, offer televisions, offer this what they call handphone, macam-macam ada lah sekarang. So a lot of things people offered. Okay, but some very strict monks will not accept all those things. Well, some more, modern one, they would like to have those things. Okay. So it's a matter of preference lah. And that, when we talk about material offering, one of the things that we do is to offer to the Buddha. Okay, to the Buddha. So what we offer to the Buddha, we use the Indian terms puja. Puja means something that we hold higher than us. See, dana could be something that you give to the same level or to the lower level. But puja is something to the higher level. So when we offer to the Buddha, we say Buddha puja. We offer to the Buddha. Then nowadays we offer colors, flowers, incense, light. Offering light is a very ancient practice among particularly all ancient religions. Because in the ancient times, fire was one of the most iconic discovery at that time. Human progress. Today we have we are coming to the AI era lah. So AI now is the in thing lah. But when human civilizations evolve into the present civilization, from barbaric stage to civilization, one of the most common things that people at that time use is fire. So until today, there are still some fire worshippers. Fire as a religion. Okay? So the headquarters of the fire worshipper is in Persia today, in Iran. The fire is said to be keep on burning non-stop from the day it was started until today. So practically everybody has got that traditions. For the Buddha's time also, people come and offer light to the Buddha, especially at night when they go over to the Buddha's residence, the monastery, to listen to the Buddha. They will bring along the light, like torchlight, as they walk through the park. They brought along, and then they will put it there, offer there. So it becomes a practice offering of light. Okay, when you first came to China, the Chinese also offer light, but the Chinese have to offer light in the mountains, very troublesome. How to carry oil all the way up there, so heavy. So the Chinese invented candles. Okay, so clever people, bring candles up there. So the early candles, they use candles up there. Okay, nowadays people don't use candle also, they use LED light. Okay, LED light also can. It's just a symbolic expression. But for those practitioners, they will still like to see the flickering light. You feel better. It's much better, more natural. Okay. Then we have flowers, but monks not supposed to be garlanded. These all our later additions. We put flower. Then we think the Buddha also we have to offer food. So we sometimes bring some food. And for the Sri Lankans, the most important one is sireh, sireh. Because the Sri Lankan eat sireh. So they thought the Buddha also must eat sireh. So they offer sireh lah. So anyway, these are all symbolic expressions of our respect and offer to the Buddha. Now, just now I told you about the offering of light at night to the Buddha. There was a lady by the name of Ninda. She was a very poor lady, and she admired many other people could offer something to the Buddha, but she could not. So she felt very sad. Then one day she got an idea. She cut her hair and sold her hair. After selling her hair, she took the money and bought oil lamp and carried the oil lamp to the Buddha, offered to the Buddha, sat down listening to the Dhamma, and then left happily. And after everybody left at night, there was a big gust of wind. And all the lights were blown off, except this light offered by Ninda. So the Buddha explained, offerings, a lot have to do with your mind. If your mind is pure, sincere, dedicated with faith, it's a very powerful force. Even the lights could not be blown away by the wind. Whereas all other normal lights are all blown away. So bear in mind, when we make offering, we want to make it with a pure mind. Okay? Today, if we confine dana to just to material, then it's very limited. We can offer many things: our services, our time, our skill. For example, you come to Babs to help out. All these are a form of dana. You can help. If you have skill, you come and offer your time, offer your skills. So these are all danas that we can perform. Don't just think of offering food to the monks. Nowadays, there's only about 1,000 plus monks in Malaysia, but there are millions of devotees. So if everybody bring food, usually there's a lot of wastage of food right now. So you can do many other ways. I'm not saying that you should not do it, but you should do it. But think there are many other ways in which we can give our time, our skill, and so on and so forth. Now, by performing this amisadana, it is said that you can at least get two things. One is happiness. You call it sukha hati, which we don't need to get a theory to support. You perform it and you know it already. When you do something good, you feel happy. Okay? When you perform some service, you feel happy. Okay? That's why it's very important when we do voluntary service, you do it happily. Okay? Don't do voluntary work, after that complain about somebody else complain about you, and all the internal bickering. After that you feel so frustrated, you leave. Okay? That is not the real meaning of dana. You have to do it voluntarily and happily. Okay? And if you really do it that way, that I am contributing my time, and don't look around and see whether other people are contributing or not. You know, I've been leading Buddhist organization from university days until today. And I always hear some comrades, they will complain, hey, so and so, I see, we all work so hard, so and so don't work. We all work so hard, so and so don't work. But they all sit in the committee and talk only. Well, I say that's dukkha, that's how dukkha works. The world is not satisfactory. I say, you look at trees, where you can find a tree, oh, green leaves one. No, sure got some yellow leaves, some brown leaves, some about to drop. In organization also same. There'll be some yellow leaves, some brown leaves. And you are the green leaf, you are very lucky. You can perform, you can do your work, you do. But don't look around. You look around, very frustrated one, I tell you. You have a 20-member committees. Usually only about 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 are working only. The rest talking. A lot of ideas. People with a lot of ideas sometimes cannot work. Because they are full of ideas. Okay? And then the other benefit is called balang. You know, in the Theravada tradition, we always say there are 4 big benefits or blessings. Ayu, Varna, Sukhang, Balang. Okay? Long life. Varna means Varna, W-A-R-N-A, Malay words. In the older days means you are born dignified. In Indian society means higher class. Varna belongs to talk about caste. That means you are born rich, well endowed, and all the things. That's called Varna. Okay. If you are born as a prince, of course you are better Varna than me lah. Okay, Varna. Are you Varna? Sukhang Balang. Sukha means happiness. So if by performing amisadana, material dana, you get happiness. Then the next one is balang. Balam is always translated as energy, strength, and all things. I say all these English words cannot adequately translate this word balam. Only Hokkien can. In Hokkien, this word is translated as ong. Can you understand now? Balang means ong. When a person is ong, when he utters some words, you all listen right now. When a person is not ong, he utters the same words, nobody cares. Right now? You know our late Chief Reverend, he can say words. There's a devotee, Mr. Ko. I don't know Mr. Ko still around. No? There was a Mr. Ko. I don't know whether you all know that Mr. Ko. Because he listened to the Buddha, to the Chief Reverend so often, he could recite exactly what Chief Reverend talked. And before Chief Reverend talked, he was joking, telling us the next sentence he would tell. He would tell. So I say, hey, you also can talk like Chief Reverend. But when Chief Reverend talk, we all listen, we all happy. You talk, nobody cares. Balang not the same. So if you perform Abhisanana, then definitely you become more and more, people say, you're more ong, you know. That's why some people do business, they can do very well because they are ong, you know. Some people not so ong. Okay? That's why Hokkien is very good one. Very powerful, you know, Hokkien. How many Hokkien here put up here? You know, nowadays now we use Mandarin, you know. Mandarin is Beijing Hua, you know. People of the North Beijing, they use. Beijing, it's not as good as Hokkien, you know. You see, in Beijing Hua, you see, 阿香去香港买香，香港的香很香。It's difficult to listen. You use Hokkien, you see. 阿香去香港买香，香港的香真香。哇 ，good Hokkien very good Okay. Okay. Just now we talk about Amisadana. There's one called Abhaya Dana. Abhaya. Very easy. Bahaya means Malay word Bahaya. Okay. Bahaya means no fear. Okay. So when we try to perform a dana to remove people's uneasiness, people's fear, that is a good form of dana. Okay. So this story about Tisa, the monk, he was sick and he was having diarrhea and his whole body was covered with his excretion, and all the monks ran away from him. And when the Buddha came to know, the Buddha entered into Skuti, the Buddha asked Ananda to bring some water, and then the Buddha take this one and clean his body. Clean his body. See, even the Buddha did that. Okay? So this is a way to comfort the sick. And because of this, the Buddha mentioned this famous word. Those who minister or those who nurse the sick, nurse me. Those who administer to the sick, administer to me. So you want to serve the Buddha, you go and serve the sick. Okay? Then you really serve the Buddha. And you really got good merits. Okay? So that's what the Buddha told us. Okay? And then you know the story of Sunita, the night soil carrier. Sunita, night soil, carry the shit. And being the lowest caste, he felt very inferior. So inferior that he felt that if he came close to the Buddha, then he would contaminate the Buddha. So he could, but he also wanted to see the Buddha. So he would, when he saw people crowding around the Buddha, he was behind there, trying to have a peep. Then, but people smell. What's so smelly? And then they look around this Sunita night soil carrier, they scolded him, Then he felt so ashamed, he ran away. But when he ran away, the Buddha walked to his direction. The Buddha walked to him. And when he walked into an alley, the Buddha also walked to him. So Buddha left everybody and walked to him. And finally, he got nowhere to go. He felt so ashamed. He fell down, and his night soil covered his body, and he was so smelly and all that. He felt so ashamed. But the Buddha came to him. The Buddha said to him to become a member of his monkhood. So the Buddha accepted him, asked the people to clean him up, give him robes, and make him into a monk. That is Abhayanana. There are many people in this world today. They are in shame, in fear, that need help. So if we are in a position to help, why not we help them? That's like what the Buddha said. So comforting patients and comforting those who fail in their life. And then if you try to save lives, including animals, these are all Abhaya Dana. Okay? Now, if you go to Sri Lanka, you go to Myanmar, you can see during the harvesting season, they will hang some rice at the gate of their house or under the trees and all that. For what? For the birds. You'd be surprised, for thousands of years, this tradition has gone on, that we not only feed our human beings, we also make some provision for the birds. So this is how beautiful the Buddhist culture is. And of course, nowadays people go to a little bit more, they try to release lives. But also, you want to release life, you must release it intelligently. Intelligently. When it's organized to become a function just to please you, then you are not releasing life, you are torturing lives. I went to a Buddhist temple, a Buddhist organization many years back, and I saw a lot of tortoises, they kept in the gunny sack in the temple. I said, what is this for? Oh, we are waiting for Visa Day, want to release them. I said, why don't you just release them now? You go and catch the poor turtle from the rubber plantation, kept them here for 1 whole week, waiting for Visa for you to perform meritorious deeds. They were happily living in the rubber plantation. Why you bother to catch them, put them here, and then perform some ceremony and then send them back? Then you are not doing, you don't understand the real meaning of performing dana. You are performing dana now because you think you release him, you got married. So you go and catch him first, then you release him. Another form of dana, we call it Abhaya Dana. Give face. So give face means give your face. Okay, to smile. So when Buddhist member devotees or visitors come to our place, we give a welcoming smile. We release his tension, his stress. You know, a lot of people come to temple because they have some problem, some stress, but they dare not come in. So they always loiter around. So, but if you have a smiling face, you can attract them. And then you can converse. Then you can have some, what they call a meaningful conversation. You release his fear. See? That's why, I like the design of the Big Field Buddhist Vihara. Big Field Buddhist Vihara, you can enter. Nobody bother you. You can go to the shrine hall by yourself. Then you can loiter around. Then if you feel really you have some problem, you need to see somebody, then you can approach somebody or somebody will approach you. But a lot of temples, especially the Chinese one, there's a big sanmen, big gate. When you enter, first thing is a big hall. And then the big hall, there's somebody sitting down there like that, watching you. So you first time you come in, you feel so uncomfortable. I just come in, only look at me like a thief like that. So that was my first feeling when I entered some of the traditionally designed Chinese temples. The welcoming atmosphere is not there, And some you have to ding dong, press the bell first before they open the gate for you. So in that case, if you have a problem, first thing you have to overcome an obstacle to enter. And now I reach the temple gate, I have to ding dong, And I have do that ding dong many times to many Chinese temples. And somebody from inside won't come out, you're shouting, "Sorry, who is that?" Like that. So like that. So if you use Abhaya Dana, you say that the benefit is long life. Okay? Long life. And rebirth in good families. Okay? Or I call it Ayu and Vana, the first two. Okay? Long life and dignified, happy, radiant features. And of course, the next one, which is said to be the highest dana, the Dhamma Dana. We know about the story of Kisa Gotami. This lady, her baby, newly born baby died. And she was so frustrated. She went around everywhere crying and begging people to bring her baby back to life. But she couldn't. Nobody could help. But when she met the Buddha, The Buddha, being a very good counselor and psychologist, did not tell him straight away, no, this child died already, you cannot do anything. No, not like us. We do direct preaching. The Buddha did the indirect experiential training. Go around to the village, go and find a master seed. Then with that master seed, then you have a chance to revive this baby. But provided there's a condition that the master seed must come from a house where nobody has died before. So the poor lady, Kisa Gotami, went round. After found so many houses, every house can find some master seed. But every house, somebody has died. So by the time she came back to the Buddha, she realized death is certain and common. So she accepted. So the Buddha prepared her through experience. Then after that, when she came back to the Buddha, she accepted. Okay? So I always tell this story. It's better than, somebody died. Then that big saint come and touch his head and say, okay, revive. Living again. But after that, the fellow will die again, isn't it? So die 2 times suffer 2 times, worse. Then, of course, the story of Angulimala. I think all of you heard this story. How many of you haven't heard the story of Angulimala? All heard already? All haven't heard? Angulimala, there were many young people at that time wanting to learn about the Dhamma. But he went to a wrong teacher. And because of jealousy of his classmates, so the classmates cook up some stories against Angulimala, this young man. So, saying that this young man, Angulimala, is having an affair with the teacher's wife. Now, in ancient times, students stay in the teacher's house one. Okay? So the teacher, in order to punish Angulimala, taught him that you must go and slaughter people and cut a finger from the victim, and you must collect 100 fingers. After collecting 100 fingers, then you can gain salvation. So Angulimala went around murdering people, slaughtering people, and cut fingers and hang around his neck. Finger is called Anguli. So that's why it's called Anguli. Then Mala is a garland. So it's a garland of fingers, Angulimala. So people gave him that name. After slaughtering 99, then the 100 supposed to be Angulimala's mother. So he was also about to do that. Then the Buddha came to know. Then the Buddha went to the site, and Angulimala chased after the Buddha. So in this case, the Buddha performed some miracles. Angulimala shouted, "Stop!" The Buddha said, "I have already stopped, but you have not stopped." Buddha means I have stopped in the samsara, but you are still in the samsara. Then after that, the Buddha had a conversation with him and converted him. And then he became a monk. So he's using the Dhamma to convert even the most murderous criminal. Okay. So the Dhamma is said to be the highest form of dana. So if you perform dana, you offer some food to the monks, good. You help people release their suffering, remove their fear, that's good. But there is a highest one, to preach the Dhamma, to share the Dhamma. Then of course some of us say, no, I don't know much about the Dhamma. But I always say, Buddhism has got various stages of learning. Surely you know something. Just like every one of us knows, water is for drinking. Okay? So at least we can preach to people, water is for drinking. But to the scientists, you split the water into hydrogen and oxygen. Okay? Then go higher some more. Before that, you can turn water into steam. You can make steam engine, like Newton and things like that. So the knowledge about steam engine is higher level already. Some of us don't know. We don't know. Okay? The knowledge about splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen is even higher. We also don't know. But definitely we can talk about water as a drinking, for water, drinking, washing, and things like that, isn't it? Cleaning. So same thing also, the Buddha Dhamma is like that. You don't have to every day, Abhidhamma, or talk about dukkha, suffering, the highest one. There are also some level which we can talk about. Okay? Now, how to practice Dhamma-dana? I think there are a few things mentioned in the mentioned as a Kalyana Mitta. Before we talk about preaching the Dhamma as a form of dana, be a good spiritual friend. Be a good spiritual friend. A good spiritual friend is one which people find you easily approachable. You can be approached. Okay? And one who is people respectable, emulable. You be an example. So setting an example is itself is one of the preconditions for you to preach the Dhamma. Then able to teach and of course able to listen. It's like basic qualities. If we can develop some of these basic qualities, then we can preach the Dhamma. Don't have to become monks. Okay? By the way, during the time of the Buddha, there were many lay preachers also. No, so the three types of dana, amisa dana, abhaya dana, dhamma dana, basically means giving or charity or helping or generosity. We can see from the stories I told you just now, everyone can give and everyone can help. Every one of us can do something. Okay? Now, how much can we do, or it's not dependent on how big is or how much you have, but how big is your heart. Okay? I know there are some very rich persons, but they are so very stingy, they don't want to offer any help at all. And I also know there are some people who are not so rich. I have a lot of friends who are just like me, staying in a double-story house, terrace house or link house, not big bungalows, having a car. But they help out in the societies, they do many other things. They're very generous. And I also know there are some of my friends, they even chartered flights to go overseas. So very rich. But they are not helping anybody. So it's a matter of your heart. Whether you want to help or not, whether you want to do some charity or not, it's all a matter of whether you have that mental Sing Liang Ta. Your heart is big enough to do that. When you have the big heart to do it, you will be able to do it. Now, a lot of us, we don't do it because we were not trained from young to do it. We think that by giving away, we lose something. And some people give the excuses that, I don't have enough, but actually they have a lot. Okay, I give an example. If I have an income of, say, 5,000 a month, 5,550, 1%, 50 ringgit. If I donate away 50 ringgit, would I become poorer because of that 50 ringgit? And if I keep that 50 ringgit, would I become richer? So you think like this, we all can do a lot of things. Some people say, oh, we must do like the Christians, compulsory, every month must donate 1% of your salaries. I say, why should we do this? Why should we make it into a law? Generosity is from your heart. If you are not willing to give, then when we force you to give, we are not training your mind. We are only training you to comply to the law, okay, to the rule. So it's better that you give according to your wish. So, for example, 500. Just now I gave 5,000. A poor man, he only earns $500 per month. And he gave away $5 a day, $5 a month. Would he become poorer or less food just because of $5? Or would he become richer because of that $5? So it's proportional. It's a matter of training. So like I told my son, every month you contribute your salary, 1%. Because now you are well endowed, you can live well, you can take care of your families. Remember, there's a bigger family, human family out there. And you can do a little bit to help you. You are cultivating good marriage. And that good merits may be useful in times of needs, You don't know. You think you are so well off now, nothing will happen. But if you do some good deeds, at least you've developed a kind heart. That's the most important. And when you have a kind heart, you can do wonders. Okay? Now, why we talk so much about dana? You see, when the Buddha when we talk about the Buddhist, the Dhamma, the first thing that comes to mind actually is dana. The Buddha talked about 10 virtues of king. First thing the Buddha mentioned, dana. Okay, 10 virtues. First thing the Buddha mentioned about dana. Then the Buddha talked about dasa punya kiriya, 10 meritorious deeds. First one, again, dana. Of course, you can do meritorious deeds in many other ways like sila, bhavana, and so on and so forth. But the first thing the Buddha mentioned about dana. Again, 10 perfections, the 10 paramis. Again, the Buddha started with dana. Okay. Then, leadership. We talk about leadership. 4 bases of leadership. First thing, dana. The Buddha mentioned about dana. Then the Buddha talked about anupubikata, means graduated way of learning the Dhamma. Okay, the Buddha actually taught us how to propagate the Dhamma. Okay, how to teach the Dhamma, graduated, step by step. Okay, in the step by step, the Buddha mentioned, first thing to teach is dana. After teaching dana, then only we talk about sila. Okay, after talking about sila, then only we talk about heavenly pleasures. So that, you have a better life, better rebirth and all things. After talking about heavenly pleasure, then only talk about the danger of attachment. And therefore, the benefits of detachment. Then only you come to that stage. Okay? So you see, step by step. We all make the common mistake. Buddhists make the common mistake. People come to the temple, they ask, hey, what does the Buddha teach? Then you think, you say, dukkha samudaya nirodha magga. Suffering, cause of suffering, cessation of suffering, and the way to the cessation of suffering. Listen, real suffering. I come here to reduce my suffering, now I got more suffering. You see, first time newcomer come in, this dukkha samudaya nirodha magga, the Buddha taught this to the 5 bhikkhus. First sermon, 5 bhikkhus, and the 5 bhikkhus, after listening, enlightened, became arahant. This is a graduation exercise for people who are about to graduate. The poor fellow come in first day only, you tell him about graduation thesis, sure he cannot follow. Straight away run away. And then something think, like this too heavy. I also cannot talk about this dukkha and things like that. So when people come to the temple and ask you, hey, what Buddhism, as a Buddhist, what must I do or what must I do? Then you think, 5 precepts. No killing, no stealing. No. Actually, sometimes we don't listen to the question properly. People normally ask, what should I do as a Buddhist? Not what I should not do as a Buddhist. And we are telling him what you should not do as a Buddhist. You listen to your question properly or not? People ask, what should I do, ma? So you tell him, you should do dana. Not say, you should not kill. Right or not? Sometimes, to do good things is easier. To stop doing bad things is tough. You agree or not? Sometimes we have bad habits, very difficult to kick one, But to develop a good habit, easier. Right or not? So you see, the Buddha has a great psychology. He already knew all these human beings. So the Buddha's human nature. So the Buddha said, practice. Start with dana first. Okay? So if people come to the temple, we tell them, you can start practicing dana. Start making friends. Know people, know your friends. Okay? The conversation of Princess Sumana with Lord Buddha, the Buddha mentions, you must have faith, virtues, panya, and dana for a good personalities. So dana is mentioned. The one who has given charity has, as a human being, a long life. So the Buddha mentioned So just now what I mentioned just now, the Buddha actually mentioned to Sumana. Long life, good look means varna, ayu varna. Riches and happiness, sukhang. And then companions and attendants and supremacy of authority means ong lah. So, okay, it's already mentioned, okay. And these things, we don't have to wait until next life to verify one. If you are practicing it here now in this world, you can feel the effect. You see, those people who are very helpful, then usually they have good companions. People like to be with them. People respect them. Then they also get things done easier, and you also can get your things done easily. So it is something that we can verify here. That's why the Buddha taught us to start off with dana, because when you practice dana, you can verify here in this life, no need to wait until next life. Today we have scientific evidence to show that when we help other people, our brain release oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. And this hormone have the effect of boosting our mood. You know, sometimes I met some people who tell me they have depressions. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor, but I said, do you normally help out with other people? Do you normally take care of other people, help other people? If you don't, my simple formula is I did not learn from Buddhism, not from classroom lecture. If you have depression, two things you need to do. First thing, go under the sun more often, exercise. Exercise. But do it outdoor, not indoor. Okay, exercise. Secondly, go and help out other people. Do dana, perform dana. Change your mindset. A lot of depressed people, they are only self-pity, self-centered. They don't care about their work. I'm not saying that those depressed don't have medical problems. They have medical problems. They have physical medical problems. Physically, something deficit, which needs medical treatments. But by helping up other people, by going out, by going under the sun, you may get some kind of this dopamine, serotonin generated, and you feel better. Okay? Now, why dana? Why just now I mentioned, dana, the Buddha mentioned so many times about dana. Why? Have we ever thought why the Buddha taught so much about the dana? Because basically, Buddhism is about the training of the mind. Why we need to train our mind? Because our mind has got three evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusions. And of the three things, the one that we can start to reduce is greed. And how to reduce greed? Outwardly, we must perform dana. Once outwardly we perform dana, then our greed, our stinginess, our attachments begin to reduce. That is the reason. Okay? That is why dana is always trash. The suttas equate this like, you want to have a garden, first you must remove the weeds. To remove the weed is like performing dana to remove the weeds. Performing dana is like removing the weed to prepare the groundwork, to prepare your mind. Now this is very important because my observations are, a lot of people don't practice dana, but they go and practice meditation first. But dana, they never do anything. They never do except to offer food to the monks. So the greed root is still very strong. After some time, it's always talking about my meditation is better than other people's meditation. Why? Attachment, my meditation is better than. And sometimes, I already first jhana already. And some second jhana already. And Buddhist leader also same. Some Buddhist leader after some time, they think, I'm very great. Or I can talk, I can lead, I have so many people. So I'm great already. So leaders of many other cults and sects also same. Some of them were Buddhist. But after some time they felt that, why should I be just a disciple of the Buddha? I'm the Buddha. So they start another new cult. So there are many like this. Because fundamentally, the greed root is still very strong. wanting fame, wanting to be honored. The great fame is very strong. And the disciples, some of the followers, add more fuel into the fire. Wow, this fellow really great. He is a Buddha, all those things. So finally, their fellow also feel, oh, very great. Okay? And another reason why we need to perform dana is because in our long journey in our spiritual life, you need food along the way, and you need merits along the way. Punya, we need punya, okay? Merits along the way. So when you perform dana, you collect punya or merits. Another reason is you do dana because of gratitude. Because we are grateful for what we have, we are grateful that we have come to know the Dhamma, we are grateful that some people have shown us the way, and we would like to share it with others. And because we practice metta karuna, okay? Because we are also told to practice metta karuna, and metta karuna has always been explained in such a way that we cannot understand. Anyway, so I use a very simple term used by Reverend Xing to give happiness, to give convenience, to give confidence, to give hope to other people. That is metta karuna. Okay? So if people WhatsApp you, ask you for reply, please reply. That is metta karuna. Okay? Okay? Why you laugh? Because my experience is I always send out messages, people ignore me. Then I have the next sentence, please have a little bit of metta for me. Can you please have a little bit of metta, answer my message? Sometimes we talk about metta karuna, something big, but our daily life, simple things, we don't bother. We don't have metta karuna on simple things in our daily life. And always think this way, to give is better than to take. To love is better than to hate. When you love someone, you feel happy, right? When you are able to give, you should be thankful that you can give, you don't have to ask and take. So you think this way, you can give, you feel better, okay? I travel very often throughout the countries, sometimes overseas. So now I look, on the average, I think I spend about 3,000 ringgit per month traveling, because I have to spend on airfare, I have to spend on lodging, hotel, and things like that. But I'm happy, I just give it, I do it, because I feel that if I can do it, I'm actually fortunate, I'm gratitude to do it. I have the sense of gratitude to do it, so you do it happily, okay? But if you start thinking, why other people don't give, I have to give, then your life is very miserable. You have to think that others cannot give because they are just not endowed. Whether spiritually or materially, they are not endowed. So it's very unfortunate. Now, how to perform dana? It's mentioned in this particular sutta. There are 6 conditions for a pure dana. Number 1, the giver must give with a happy mind. And during the giving, there's joy and saddha. There's happiness and faith. And number 3, after completing the dana, there is happiness. Okay? Sometimes people, after giving the dana, regret. Then, less pure already. Okay? So, 3 conditions mentioned. Then, for the recipients, here the recipient is normally referring to those who are in the monkhood, in the spiritual journey. The recipients have removed greed, or is it practicing to remove greed? The recipient has removed hatred, or practicing to remove hatred, and the recipient has removed delusion, or practicing to remove delusion. Okay? So if all these 6 conditions are fulfilled, then we say it's a very pure dana, very good dana. That's why a lot of people rush to offer dana to the monks, because we believe the recipient is practicing. Okay? That's why you don't give dana to me, because I'm not practicing. Not to say no merits, less merits lah. Not to say no merit. Well, there are many motives people give dana, but regardless of the motive, some motive may not be very pure motive, but it is still meritorious in the sense that it is still a good deed. Okay? But in the Anguttara Nikaya, it's mentioned there are 8 types of motives. One gives with annoyance as a way to defend offending the recipient with the idea of insulting him. So sometimes people come and ask you, you're fed up, take. They'll get rid of somebody. Sometimes like that. So this is not with a pure mind. But don't look now upon this. We ourselves should try to remind ourselves. But for people who are doing this, we also should not say bad things about that. At least he has given. Okay? Then the next one is fear. Sometimes people think, if I don't give, what will happen to me? Then they give, because I'm scared if I don't give, what will happen to me? Then the next one is, one gives in return for a favor done for oneself in the past. Sometimes I give, last time he helped me also, so now I give back. Okay? So these are all the reasons or the motivations people give dana. The next one is, one may also give with the hope of getting a similar favor or for oneself in the future. So now I give, hoping that next time you give me back. Sometimes people with anticipation. Okay? Then, this is the most important one. One gives because giving is considered good. In Buddhism, we talk about marriage. A lot of us talk about marriage. So much so, sometimes we Buddhists got the wrong idea that we do all these things because we want marriage. But by right, when we do good things, we do good things because it is good. You must think it is good. And sometimes people say, good begets good, good begets good, bad begets bad. So when we preach karma, we also teach like that. But in real life, you watch. Sometimes you do good deeds, but you get bad result. Then you feel frustrated, the Buddhism is not true one. It's not like that. The whole idea is to encourage you to do good. That's why the encouragement, good begets good, bad begets bad, is an encouragement for you to do. But we must not think in terms of that. We must think that this is good, therefore I do it. Whether there is a negative or positive result that come out of it, there is another story. So please think, I do this because I need to do it because it is good. That's all. Full stop. Every time you do something anticipating good results, finally it becomes a suffering also. Because every time no good result come. Okay? Then the next one, this one is, I cook, they do not cook. It's not proper for me who cooks not to give to those who do not cook. So this is altruism. In today's terms, I have, they don't have. Therefore, I want to give to them. Okay? And then the next one is, some people give because, when you give other people clap, you got a good reputation. You want the reputation, honor. So all these scenarios already described in the Buddhist suttas. So it's a matter of which category you are in, okay? And then others give alms to adorn and beautify the mind, to keep our mind clean, pure, to reduce greed in our mind. Now, give with saddha, give with the confidence or good faith. Prepare with care and reference, okay? And give at the proper time. Make use of things in life that make others happy if you give without attachment. Okay? Give with no intention of showing off. Okay, this is an important part also. Alms should be given in such a way that the donee does not feel humiliated, belittled, or hurt. Okay? So treat them with respect. And here also, one should give with one's own hand. Because basically this, we say karma is by your own self. So if you give, you should try and do it yourself. Of course, nowadays, as a society become more and more complex, sometimes you ask somebody else to perform for you and all things. But if you can do it by yourself, so much better. Okay? And last one is, one should not give as alms what is only fit to be thrown away. You know, last time when we had the tsunami incident, and so many people bring things to be given away at the Brickfield Buddhist Vihara. The whole hall, that's about 100 feet by 40 feet hall, all filled with things. But among them, a lot of things are actually rubbish. People empty whatever rubbish from their house without sorting out and bring it and throw it there. Now, the last one I want to talk about is the degree, degree. Just like you give, some people, although I got 5,000 ringgit per month income, I give away 50. Some people, I got 5,000 per month, but I give 100 per month. So I got 5,000, some people give 1,000 per month, I give away. Degree, the degree is different, okay? So there are 3 different degrees. The first one is dana, the normal dana, we talk about normal degree lah, okay? This one, dana uparamita. This one, master degree, okay? Dana uparamita is a little bit higher one. Easy to remember, up, up, uparamita. The English word up actually from also got Pali Sanskrit word. Upper paramita, upper dana, okay? Upper paramita, dana, upper paramita. Higher dana, a little bit higher. And then dana paramita, this is, we call it dana of perfection. This higher degree, this one PhD degree. Okay, got 3 degrees. Okay. So the first one, dana, ordinary dana. So I think most of us perform ordinary dana. Okay. We won't go I know there are some people who perform higher degree. For example, some people, they give away all their properties, to become monks. What? Millions of dollars, properties, houses, they give away. Become monks. Some people are like that. That one is higher degree. So the higher degree one is dana uparamita. For example, in terms of materials, you can give away almost everything. In terms of your body parts, your organs, part of your body, we are willing to go there. And dana of perfection, dana at the risk of even one's life. You see in the Buddhist suttas, there's a story of the Bodhisattva in his past life, sacrificing his life to cups. You know about that story, isn't it? That is dana paramita, okay? If you are not at that degree, don't do it, After that, you regret, Okay? Everybody's spiritual level is different, okay? So you do it according to your spiritual levels. But to sacrifice one's life, even in modern times, this happens. 11th of June 1963. That is how many years? 50 years ago? 60 years ago? 60 years ago, around this time. Vietnam at that time was it's in the Vietnam War, and South Vietnam was ruled by Ngo Dinh Diem, President Ngo Dinh Diem, who was a very staunch Catholic, and he was persecuting the Buddhists like anything. And he was promoting his Catholicism together with his brother, who is the Archbishop of Hue. So much so that the Buddhists protested, because the Buddhists were not allowed to celebrate Vesak. That's why the date is around Vesak. But the Christians were allowed to celebrate Christmas. So the monks protested. And this monk, Thích Quang Duc, after protesting for some time in May, on the 11th of June 1963, he set fire on himself in the city of Saigon, okay? And that changed the political scenario of Vietnam after that. President Ngo Dinh Diem was assassinated by his own people in December that year, and the scenario changed. Now this means that people who are willing to go to that extent, to sacrifice his own life, just to bring about change. So it's possible. Okay? There are people who are willing to go to that extent. But what we are saying is we should start doing what we can do now and develop our faith, our spiritual level as time goes on. Okay? Now, briefly to talk about fake monks. When you give dana to monks, don't give cash, especially into the bowls. The bowl is a foodware, you know. You put money inside, how to eat the food? Okay? So please. And we must keep on telling this so that there will be no fake monks in the market. Okay? You know, probably Buddhism is the only religion where we have fake monks in the market. No? Why the Muslims, the Christians all don't have? The Sikhs don't have? You ever thought of this? Because we Chinese, we like to put money. People put food one, we put money. 20, 30 years ago when I was in Thailand, I noticed people always come and offer food. Nobody give money one. Today, Thailand also people put money because they follow the Chinese. Chief Reverend Dhammananda said, Buddhism cannot change the Chinese. Chinese can change Buddhism. True. Then Taiwan monks also, in Taiwan street, monks, Chinese put money inside. So everywhere the Chinese put money inside. Because the Chinese also don't know about the bowl. Whereas traditionally in Sri Lanka and Thailand and Myanmar, they know that bowl is for food. So they won't put anything else inside except food. But now we go and contaminate with money. And then, because got money, then the fake monks come in. Okay? So suppose you stop all these things, you only put food, there won't be fake monks. You go and buy curry mee or whatever, put inside the bowl, it's so heavy, he has to go home. Let me tell you a story about dana and listening to the dana. Now some people spend all their time doing charities. No doubt that is the first step in learning Buddhism as encouraged in Buddhism. But doing dana alone is not enough. You must also listen to the Dhamma. Then you know what you are doing, you know that it is part and that it is a package. It is only a small part of the whole package of learning the Dhamma. Okay? There was a king, he kept a white elephant, beautiful white elephant. And the white elephant was well fed and decorated with flower garlands. One day, a monk came and whispered something into the ears of the white elephant. Few days later, the white elephant died. Then, the king was astonished. So the king asked people to bring the monk in and asked the monk, what did you do to my elephant? He was normal, then suddenly he died. Then the monk said, actually I'm an arahant. I know what happened. Both of us in our past life, we were practicing together. And this white elephant in my past life, he always practiced dana. But he never listened to the Dhamma. So after that, he was very well endowed, born as a white elephant in a palace, well taken care of. That's why he's born as a white elephant. And I, in my past life, I don't practice dana. I only listen to the Dhamma. So this life, I become an arahant. But whenever I go out for food, I don't get food. Most of the time, I'm hungry. So I share with him all our common mistake. I only listen to the Dhamma. I don't practice dana. So I end up as an arahant, but always with hungry stomach. You always practice dana, never listen to the Dhamma. So now you end up as a white elephant, well fed, well endowed. So very important, must listen to the Dhammas so that you don't become white elephant. Okay? And don't mistaken that dana is only meant for the monks. Okay? This is to share. Now I want to share with you one last part, the Youth Development Center at Bodhi Park in the Shalam there. The building behind there, the 5-story building, that's the new building that we are going to put up. Why? Because Bodhi Park, since completion in 2011, now has become the most popular training center for the youth, especially university students. Annually, we have about 25 camps there. University students comes, 25 camps. I think there's no other places in Malaysia where there are 25 camps held a year. But unfortunately, when we first started, we only built the middle one, the main shrine hall, and also the single-story building by the side. So it means there's no enough accommodations. And university students, usually they come, they stay for 2 nights, 3 nights, sometimes even up to 1 week. So we have some temporary cabins last time. So all the cabins now eaten by white ants, cannot be used already. Then now the students have to be accommodated, even before MCO, in the shrine hall. And the male in the sometimes female in the shrine hall, male in the main hall, lecture hall. That's why we decided to take down the cabins and build the multi-story training center. Okay, so the work has started on the 11th of July, a few weeks ago. So since we are talking about Dana today, I bring this one so that you have a conclusion, you have an opportunity to do your Dana. Okay, so I brought some coupons. This coupon is for bricks. Each brick is 30 ringgit. Each coupon has got 10. Each booklet has 10. That means each booklet is about 30 ringgit. So I brought only 15 copies. 15 copies. So those who like to contribute your share, you can take this one and do whatever you can. The idea is we want to get to let people participate. So we're not asking very much, it's just 30 ringgit. Okay? So if you can, please help out. Thank you very much.
Should anybody have any questions?
So on and off, while we are dining in restaurants, there are people, we do not know whether they are beggars or not, so they come around and asking for money. So what's the mindset that we should approach them, or what's the correct approach that we should like handle this kind of people? Like, I mean, it's very common that we think there are syndicates of beggars. So what's your view on this? Thank you.
I think this is entirely up to individuals, up to you, how you judge. If you think that these are genuinely beggars, then we should help. We can help, we help. After all, it's 1 or 2 ringgit. But if you think, you know that this is a syndicate around here, then there's no reason for us to help this syndicate. Especially if you know suddenly there are 3 or 4 fellows all around the area, sent in by a van and things like that. So it's a syndicate using these people to solicit money. Then, in my case, I will not give, that's all. But if they are individual and who really in need of help, and we know it's not syndicate, then we can help. We can help.
Any other questions?
Brother Dato, this about Fong Sang, releasing animals. These days in Malaysia, during Visa, does any temple still practice this, releasing caged birds or fish and all that kind of stuff? Because I think it's like a wrong rite and ritual. It shouldn't be practiced at all, I think.
Nowadays, less already. But I can tell you, before, I think around 1970-something, Brickfield Buddhist Temple still practice that.
Okay.
So one day, Chief Reverend announced, next year onwards, no more releasing of birds. No more. Because every year, people will stop at the Indian shops around Brickfield area there and buy all the birds. And those birds were already kept for a few days. And then went to the Brickfield Buddhist Temple and released there. And most of the birds could not even fly. They fly a little bit, drop down. Then will be eaten by cats. So it's a lot of suffering to the poor animals, to the poor birds. So from there on, no more. Okay. So in the early days, it was quite common. In fact, now it's less. I think with proper understanding, people will know how to do it properly.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
The Dharma Drum Master, Sen Yan Fa Sư, said, if you want to release life, you release instantly. You come across, you know it, you do it instantly. Yeah, exactly. You don't perform it as a ritual. When you perform it as a ritual, what is the meaning? To to fulfill your wish, not that poor life's wish. Okay?
I think that's the point, you know. Like sometimes you go to a market, you see an iguana being about to be slaughtered. Maybe you can buy it and let it go. That's instantly done, yeah?
Yeah,
okay,
because
thank you.
you really genuinely want to help that life, then it's up to you. You can do it. But if you want to do it, and then you want to have a ceremony, you want to ritual, and some even, what they call soujie, you know, give the following 5 precepts. The Buddha already said only human beings can accept 5 precepts. But we always want to expand, okay?
Thank you, Dato Ang. Shall we then again say our gratitude and appreciation by saying 3 times of sadhu? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.